Greetings, this is Chloe Neville, and I'm participating in Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot in 2017 challenge. I am on days 14 and 15. The question for today on 14 is the court card. You would date, marry, have as a best friend, and a mortal enemy. Okay, so I had a little bit of a hard time with this because my decks tend to be non-standard in the court cards, and I only had a few that might work. And so that took me a little while. My non-standard decks usually can have such changes as like the pages not even having children or not having a good blend of male and female through even the knights. And I have a few that have all female court cards and no males whatsoever. So that was a little bit of a problem. So I had to go and find some that did have some of that. And as you've heard me mention, if you've been watching the other videos, I've been working with the mystical cats this last year. That's the one I'm more familiar with. And so I looked up actually the qualities through the cats, and then I realized, oh, this might not transfer over well for dating or what husbands like and things like that. But I will possibly share that one too if it doesn't take too long to go through the deck that I did use to show for it. So I ended up picking the Shadowscapes to show my answers to this question. And the first part is, and I had a really hard time which ones would I pick for someone to date. So what I did was I chose the qualities of guys I used to date, and then picked one or two for the qualities that my husband has, and then I picked one for my best friend, and then picked one for the qualities that somebody I wouldn't get along with or who would possibly be an enemy to me has. Okay. So the kind of qualities that the guys I used to date back in like late high school, college, and such were for me the Knight of Wands. I actually dated a few redheaded guys, and they tended to be rather focused and pretty passionate about the things that they were into, as well as some of them being athletic or just, like I said, some of them were like into hiking, some of them were very passionate about collecting or gaming, or there were lots of different things. And literally this has like red foxes in it, and then the griffin is in red and gold tones, and I was dating guys who had coloring similar to that, actually others too. The other guys are represented by I felt the Knight of Earth or Pentacles. I dated some like football and soccer guys who were really into their health, but not necessarily were very picky about how everybody else looked and how they dressed and stuff. They were just very physical guys who really enjoyed their food, who had their own, again, their own interests, their own focus, and were real go-getters. And yeah. And in college, I dated guys who were really into earth spirituality and getting out there in nature and things like that. So, and I also dated some gamers, which I feel have a little bit of both earth and fire qualities to them. I know some people might argue for, say, that Knight of Air or Swords, but I felt like this was a pretty good blend of the kind of guys I used to date. All right, so then I decided to choose a couple cards, one or two cards that represented the qualities that I feel that my husband has. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of another kind of guy. I just felt wrong to me. So my husband is an Aquarius, and he is very into computers. He has gotten several degrees, and he's very smart, and the King of Air definitely reminds me of my husband. He can be extremely organized. He likes to use a computer program to keep our budget and keep track of everything and all that kind of stuff. He's also he has some of the qualities that some of the guys used to have, but in a very intellectual way. Uh, he's very verbal, not quite as emotional. Um, yeah, very thoughtful guy. But he's also, as Aquarians are, really open-minded in ways that I find I really appreciate. So, yeah. So this again is the Knight of Swords from Shadowscapes. And then the other part of it is that my husband has Leo pretty heavy in his chart, and it even comes through. It's very thick blonde hair, like a proud lion. And so I picked the King of Wands, um, partially because I felt like his energy was definitely connected to this. He actually likes to ski, so that was another reason for the Knight of Swords of air, because I always associated snow. I know it's technically water, but it really reminds me of air in wintertime and the winds and the blowing and such. And then the qualities that my husband has in the King of Wands is he's really a go-getter. He can be really focused. He um, basically when he sets out to do something, it pretty much happens. And I felt that he had the focus and drive that the King of Wands would have. And he is very good at actively pursuing the things he wants to manifest. So yeah, that's why I picked the King of Air, Swords and Wands for my husband. Okay, so for my good friend, best friend, I chose the Queen of Wands. My best friend is very much into music and has a harpist there. She is very much has similar qualities as the King of Wands in the sense of being very driven. And my best friend is actually a Leo. um, I don't know how these Leos popped into my life because I didn't really have many Leo friends when I was younger. Maybe a shift in maturity for me and some other connections for them. She is with her focus, as long as you're on board and willing to work with her, she's really willing to work with you. And she's another person who manifests things when she needs to or wants to. She also, this being has really, really long hair um, in the back, and my friend Lee has extremely long hair, being a Leo herself, a thick mane of her own. And she loves, I mentioned music, but she runs her own business. She takes charge, makes things happen. She's awesome. And she's really helped me be a little bit more focused and active and really accomplish things that I wasn't sure that I would. Okay. So she's a really cool, supportive person and quite the cheerleader in her own way. Not like she goes cheering you on, yah, yah, rah, rah, but like really helps you think about what you want to do, really helps you set an active plan, and is willing to go the extra, whatever she can do to help out within the limited extra time she has. So, okay, so that was the Queen of Wands. Don't do that, you silly kitty. I'm going to tip over the water cup. Not a good thing. Okay, so finally, for Mortal Enemy, I have a really big problem with people who feel like they deserve better things than other people. I have a problem with, I've had issues with people who take advantage of others or tend to think that they deserve better things. Oh, I already said that. Sorry. I've dealt with a few snobs. You know, think about the negative qualities that might be in a Queen of Pentacles, and I really feel that that would be someone I wouldn't get along with, or may even actively work against and try to make things better for those that they affected, because they don't, I imagine this person wouldn't care how they got what they wanted, just that they got it. Even to the detriment of others. Okay, so yeah, that's Queen of Pentacles. If I can get it to focus on it, come on. Really lovely details in this one though. And I know it might be hard for some people to think of negative qualities of the Queen of Pentacles depending on your deck, but this is the one that stuck out in my head. Not because I feel that this card is negative or that she isn't lovely or any of those positive things you could say about this card. It's just I've dealt with some pretty snobby, class-oriented people, and I've never enjoyed hanging around them or dealing with them, and I always feel defensive of others around them. So okay, I really feel this is long enough. That was day 14, and I will make another video for day 15 after all. Okay, have a good evening, everybody.